E3 here, embodied, empowered, and ecstatic. Some of you might know me as Ethan, but my teacher gave me the name E3, so I don't tell many people my name is E3, but when I'm doing like teaching or sharing work with people, I call myself E3. It's like my stage name. And it's also a good affirmation for me personally, because for many years I did not feel embodied, empowered, and ecstatic. So I think that's why the shaman gave me that specific name when I requested one. It wasn't random. He gave me that name for a reason. And he didn't tell me to use it as an affirmation, but one day I decided that would be a pretty good idea to use that as an affirmation and reprogram what I call the passive machine mind. Reprogram those old, unconscious, limiting beliefs with a new, higher vibration affirmation. So I want to read a question that somebody wrote to me, and I appreciate everyone's prayers and support. It's literally keeping me alive. There have been many moments where I either don't have the strength or everything's just, it's too much for one person to go through all of this, with all of the surgeries, the pain, just there's too much to describe. So I really appreciate your prayers, and whatever you're doing, keep it up. All right, so a question that somebody asked who's curious about what I'm going through, they said, why do you feel your soul chose this part of your adventure? Can you tell us more about the beauty you are seeing now? So it's interesting. I really believe, and I felt like the first day, basically I was feeling awesome in all ways. And then a week later, I had a minor stroke flying from Hawaii to New York. And then the next day, the left side of my body, actually, I think even that night, but definitely the next day, the left side of my body was slightly paralyzed. So I went to the hospital, and then they discovered a brain tumor. And then the next week, I had brain surgery in October 2019. And then there was radiation, chemo, grand mal seizures, head infections. Yes, that's plural. A few more head surgeries, and a lot of pain. I can't even remember all of the painful experiences. But my point is that since the beginning, I felt intuitively that it was God's plan and my soul's plan to have this experience. Now, I didn't consciously choose it, but I believe that my soul did, for whatever my highest purpose is on this planet, that this was part of it. This was so perfect in so many ways for the beauty that I want to share with people and how I want to assist people in this lifetime to have this experience, to transmute the energies, and then to create beauty. And I'm trying to create beauty now, so it's a balance of like just being present and but also planning for the future. So, oh, and also, second question, can you tell us more about the beauty you are seeing now? Yeah, there's beautiful things every step of the way. The pain, especially, is very, very beautiful because it's inescapable. And it helps me. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a deep, dark, black hole. And if I try to resist it, if I try to move in any way, even in my mind, it hurts more. So there have been many times where I have to find, it's like a still, peaceful place in the middle of a deep, dark, painful black hole, inescapable black hole. So that's some of the beauty I've been experiencing. But there's been much more than that. For every challenge, for every painful experience, there have been blessings and miracles from people that I haven't even met, from people that I used to know and haven't seen in a while. Well, here's a cool example. In one of the surgeries, right after the anesthesia, or right before the anesthesia kicked in, or maybe it was right after it, I stayed conscious and I saw all of the surgeons and the nurses or whoever was in the room. They were all angels. I thought I was in heaven or something. I looked around and all of them were angels. And I looked at the nurse who was right in front of me and I said, did the anesthesia kick in yet? And then She just looked at me and smiled and laughed, and then I just was knocked out and had the surgery and woke up. So that was kind of cool. Here's another cool story. Another time I was in a hospital recovering. All of the nurses happened to be black who were in the room with me. And the shaman that I've been studying with, his teacher, he has black skin. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but like, I don't know what culture he's from. But the point of me sharing that is every nurse was black. And for me, that wasn't random, because every nurse that came in to be with me, Maestro is my teacher's name. But Maestro is also my teacher too. It was like Maestro was infusing each nurse and like moving into their being. I don't know how to describe it. And he was communicating with me telepathically. And this would go on for hours and hours. And then there would be a new nurse that came in, and then he would just kind of move into their being. And then I was singing songs to him telepathically. And he was smiling and laughing. And this is while I was in extreme pain. It seemed like a psychedelic experience, which makes sense because he's a shaman. But yeah, back to the question. That's just another example of some of the beauty I've been seeing. Another thing that's been very beautiful is that I feel happier and more myself now than I have in many, many years since the glioblastoma discovery. It's been like a painful, inescapable purification process for my mind and for my heart. So that's been really beautiful. Oh, and another reason I feel like my soul chose this part of the adventure is because of what's happening in the world. I feel like I'm doing my small part to transmute the energies and to bring more love into my own life and hopefully into the lives of people that I interact with. I don't know how else to say it, but at times I've felt like Jesus. Of course, I'm not Jesus at all, but bearing my own cross and doing so when no one's looking. Like all day long, pretty much, I'm in pain and either alone or with nurses. And once in a while, I make these videos to share what's happening. But I'm doing my best throughout the day to bear my own cross. And I feel like that's the return of Jesus. It's not going to be one person coming down from the sky. Although, watch out for those fake UFO sighting and invasion things. There's going to be real alien interaction, benevolent. And then there's also going to be like false alien invasion stuff. So you got to be very mindful and use your intuition to really feel into what's real and what's not real. I feel like the Christ consciousness is coming back, and it's going to come into every human being's heart if we are open to it. And it's going to come in a very unique way for each person. I believe so anyway. I feel like that's definitely happening for me in my heart. And I feel like that's happening for millions of people all over the world, that we're awakening love in our hearts. So what else do I want to share for this update? There's been extreme pain. I started chemo a few nights ago. I think tonight is the 4th or the 5th dose. That makes me feel exhausted. Feels like a very yucky feeling, clearly. I mean, even the nurses, they have to literally wear gloves before they touch it. And then they say, I don't know why, but they say I have to flush the toilet twice when I pee. It's like, okay, and I'm putting this into my body. So it's a beautiful practice at trusting that the good work of the chemo will be done and my body will be able to recover after that. So what else do I want to share? There's extreme pain, increased loss of sensation on the left side of my body due to the tumor growth on the right side of my brain. I'm going to be in the hospital for a few more days until October 22nd. Then I'm going to be discharged. I'm going to stay with my mother and stepfather. My father lives in the area too, so he's going to be helping out. And basically, I'm just throwing everything I can at this tumor. There's a lot happening because I still need another surgery to put in the plate in my head and 3D print a section of the skull. But before that happens, they can't do that surgery safely before the tumor is healed. So it's like a interesting puzzle, a real life puzzle. So yeah, I'm going to be discharged and create the highest vibrational healing space possible. The chemo is 5 days on, and then during the 23 days off, I'm going to be doing as much as I can in my mind, my soul, just rebuilding the body. So it's kind of like just go time, no time to think about anything. But then at the same time, taking it step by step and just making everything a prayer as best as I can. And my prayer also is that even if no one sees what I'm doing or what I'm creating or offering, that my life can have a positive impact on other people's lives. Because in a sense, what's the difference between, like, for example, if I do chemo and I feel like crap the next day, and then I choose to stand up and take a few breaths and drink a glass of water to get some energy moving, what's the difference between that and maybe a single mother in lockdown during COVID who has 2 kids, and then she has to like get up in the morning and just take a deep breath and tell herself, okay, just one step at a time. So I feel like we're each doing that in our own way in many areas of our life. And then we can do it together. We can build positive momentum. We can bring in positive energies. We can let go of those old energies that we don't even want. A lot of these energies are just part of the culture and the system and the matrix, and we're breaking free from the matrix. So I'm happy to be doing my own part in my own way. And in case you're wondering, yes, I am human. I'm angel too. But I say that because, yeah, I often get very sad and it gets very overwhelming, this situation that I'm in. In many ways, it's incurable. And it's not just the Western doctors saying it's incurable and they have no faith. It's like the reality of what's happening, the fact that, that just happened, the head surgeries, and then the new tumor growth, and all of these other challenges that are happening. Sorry, just 1 minute. Yeah.
We'll be back.
Thank you.
In a minute.
Yeah, and facing death every single day, and also feeling the pressure of the tumor pressing on the nerve in my brain, feeling the numbness increasing on the left side of my body. At times it feels like the left side of the body is literally going to turn off. But then at the same time, I still have all of these dreams in my heart to create, to help other people, to write, to dance. If you didn't know, I studied belly dance in India for around 9 months with India's #1 dance teacher, Payal Gupta. So I have all of these gifts and talents and skills and energies, and at the same time, this is the most humbling, challenging, painful situation I've ever been in. So I'm trying to balance out both. The fact that I could, no matter how positive or how proactive I am, I could die tomorrow. I could die in a week or two, and that would not be far-fetched. But at the same time, miracles can happen. I very well could build positive momentum, heal, and create an amazing, beautiful life. So I'm doing my best to stay in my heart as I have 1 foot in death and 1 foot in rebirth. And it's definitely a mystery to me. I'm trying to be more comfortable being in the mystery. My shaman said, it was one of the last ceremonies before I had this whole experience. He said something about being comfortable in the discomfort. And when he said that, I was like, oh man. Because sometimes when the shaman says something, it's like they're seeing into the future. But, it makes perfect sense. And I'm getting better at being comfortable in the extreme pain and discomfort. So that's just a little update I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for your love and your prayers and your support. And yeah, right now my main practice is presence. It's not even on positivity or like anything like that, but just following my intuition in each moment and trusting that guidance, and then taking the next moment as it comes. So E3 here, embodied, empowered, and ecstatic. Just as I am, and may you be as well. Thank you so much for your prayers and support. Wishing you well.